Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again, Impact Wrestling fans. I'm back. I'm here to talk about Redemption. I'm here to give my preview and predictions for Impact Wrestling Redemption. First up, I'd like to ask you to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be notified of every video that I make. Also, feel free to comment down below what you have on prediction. On Redemption. Let me know your thoughts on the pay-per-view. Anything, predictions, anything. Write them down below or type them down below, and I'll definitely respond. So let's get right on into it. The first match I will talk about is the six-way match. Taiji Ishimori versus Desmond Xavier, my boy Desmond Xavier, versus Phantasma versus Cage versus DJZ versus Trevor Lee. This should kick off the show. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to rock the house. The six-way matches with the X Division always gets the fans going. And this one should be very exciting. There hasn't been a whole lot of build towards it because, you can't do too much build with a whole six-man match. But I'm very much looking forward to this. I am, however, a little bit disappointed that it's not an Ultimate X match. I really felt that this should have been an Ultimate X match with the contract at the top, and that would have just been fantastic. But we have this match as it is, six-way match. I can only imagine that the winner would be in line for some type of title shot somewhere. So we're gonna get down to the prediction. As for the prediction, I gotta take my bias aside. Desmond Xavier, gotta take my bias aside. They are trying to build up Brian Cage in a huge way, and I really think Brian Cage gets the win here. They're trying to build him up, and I think it's gonna be a fantastic matchup. And looking at the participants, I wouldn't mind if any of them won it. Like, if it's not Brian Cage, if it's Desmond Xavier, or if it's Phantasma or whoever, I would be happy with it so long as they give them time. Because they could put on a heck of a match here. It could be the match of the night, who knows. So moving on, we have the House of Hardcore match. OVE versus Moose, Eddie Edwards, and Tommy Dreamer. This is the match that arguably has the most build. Well, not even arguably. This is the match that has the most build heading into it, with Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan, the whole bat incident, and they've been running that storyline. It's been pretty decent. It hasn't been great. It has been something to knock your socks off, but it's been pretty good. I gotta hand it to them. Looking at the participants here, we have Eddie Edwards and Moose, and Tommy Dreamer is a surprise participant. Lights went off, lights went on. Impact doesn't really do that anymore. The lights off, lights on. I really like that. But that aside, I don't have any problems with Tommy Dreamer being in this matchup with the old timers, or however you want to put it, part timers. So long as they aren't the main match, and so long as it's not a singles match, I'm good with it. So I like Tommy Dreamer's involvement here. It's going to be a brutal match. It's going to be action all around. I'm pretty sure we're going to get into one of those situations to where it's two people over outside the ring, two people in the crowd, two people on a rampway, and that's going to be the type of match it's going to be. So I'm very much looking forward to it. As for the winners here, I have to go with Eddie Edwards, Moose, and Tommy Dreamer. Eddie Edwards has to get his comeuppance and win here. They even built towards this match at Impact versus Lucha. So Eddie Edwards has to get his comeuppance here, and they will win. All right, looking at the Knockouts title match, we have Ali versus Su Yung. I'm very much excited about this match. I didn't know much about Su Yung when she debuted, but I like her. I like her act, and she's pretty decent in the ring as well. So this feud with Ali has involved Braxton Sutter. He kind of came out of nowhere. But that aside, I'm liking this matchup, and I'm liking the storyline. And in the end, honestly, I want to say Ali wins, but as I looked at it, I think Su Yung has to win here, because Ali has pretty much done it all with all of the knockouts. And I mean, probably with the exception of Kara Hogan, and I mean, hasn't been built up into a title contending role yet, so we'll see about her, and I hope they do build her up. But I think something has to change with the Knockouts title, and I think that change is Su Yung, and we're gonna a fresh feud with Su Yung and Rosemary. That's just speculation on my part as a fan, but that would be really interesting if they go down that route. All right, moving on, we have the Impact Tag Team title match. The champions LAX versus Eli Drake and Scott Steiner. This should be a pretty interesting match. And I'm going to start with the promos here. Scott Steiner and Conan, that segment a couple weeks ago, a couple of impacts ago, was just gold. I mean, you got Scott Steiner and Conan, who are basically the same person, on the mic, just let the type of people that just let loose and crack jokes while they're at it. So when they were going back and forth, it was kind of like the same person going back and forth. It was kind of like if you watched TNA for an extended period of time. It's kind of like when Jay Lethal was going at it, when Ric Flair, it was like the same person going at it, and that was pretty funny. And Scott Steiner versus Conan was funny as well. But as for looking at the match, as for the quality of the match, I think Scott Steiner is going to stand on the outside. Eli Drake is going to pretty much do all of the work here, and Scott Steiner get the hot tag and do the things, do his things, do his moves, get his moveset out here and there, his few moves, get his stuff out here and there. That's what I'm looking for. And I think Eli Drake will come back in and pretty much finish off the match. But in the end, I don't think Scott Steiner is going to be around every week to carry the tag titles. So the winner will be LAX. They will retain the tag team championships. I expect a pretty decent match if they go with that formula that I just laid out. And they pretty much, when Scott Steiner wrestles in the tag teams, they pretty much do that. So I'm very confident that they will continue to do that. So moving on, we have Drago versus Aerostar, two Lucha Underground stars. And I gotta say, I'm very excited for this matchup because as a Lucha Underground fan that's been watching this season, one, Aerostar and Drago are two, or Aerostar especially is a high flyer, and this is going to be a fantastic match. And there's no build to it whatsoever, so I don't really have a whole lot to go on outside of the things I've seen in Lucha Underground, and those things were great. And if Impact Wrestling gives them time here, it's gonna be great. That's all I can say. It's gonna be fantastic because they did some fantastic stuff in Lucha Underground. In the end, as for the winner, this is 50-50 because it's two random guys. But I'm gonna go with Drago on this one to pull out the win. Moving on, we have the X Division title match. Matt Sydal versus Petey Williams. Petey Williams and Josh Matthews had that, whatever that match was, which led to a Matt Sydal beatdown. And I gotta say, this is going to be a fantastic match. This card, now that I'm really sitting back and looking at it and breaking it down, this is going to be a really good pay-per-view, a really good card. But Matt Sydal versus Petey Williams, I mean, give him, like, as I say, I've been saying that about a lot of matches, it seems like, but this for sure. Give them time and they're going to tear down the house. And depending on what the placement of this match is, I'd really like to know what the placement is. It would really boost the pay-per-view. And this is going to be fantastic. Petey Williams versus Matt Sydal. As for the winner, this is a tough one. This is about the toughest one of the night outside of Drago and Aerostar. But I'm going to go with Petey Williams here. I'm going to go with Petey Williams to get the upset and get the championship. And they can start this feud out. We can get another Matt Sydal and Petey Williams match out of it after this, with Petey Williams being the champ. So moving on, we got the Impact Wrestling World title on the line. Austin Aries versus Pentagon versus Phoenix. This is a rematch from Lucha Underground versus Impact. Obviously, this was supposed to be Austin Aries and Del Rio. We know what happened in that case. I broke it down in the previous video. But we got this match, and this match is 10 times better than what Austin Aries and Del Rio would have been, in my opinion. We saw what happened at Lucha Underground vs. Impact. They had a phenomenal match. They didn't have a gang of time in that match, but they put on the show. With the time that they did have, they put on a show. Austin Aries took those double super kicks, which were lethal, and Pentagon went on to win the match. But as for this match heading up on Redemption, I expected to get a whole lot more time than their match that they had at Lucha Underground versus Impact. So this is going to be bananas. We have a lot of matches that I look on this card and I can say legitimately that it has the chance to be the match of the night, and obviously the main event is one of them. I expect a whole lot from all three guys here, and I expect them to tear down the house. As for the winner here, Austin Aries has to retain the championship. He lost at Lucha Underground vs. Impact. The story sets up greatly, and he can have his chance to overcome Pentagon and Phoenix in this match. So Austin Aries will win. He will retain the Impact World Championship. So that's it for this card. This is going to be phenomenal. As for the price, last time I checked, it was between $35. It was around $35 and $40. Like $35, $40, somewhere in between there. A lot of people say that, that's a pricey tag. In the age of the WWE Network, they've really broken pay-per-view. So I can see where people are coming from when they say that it's a pricey tag to pay $35, $40 for wrestling today. But when you get a phenomenal card like this, I don't really think it's pricey or expensive when you know you're gonna have great matches. When you can be guaranteed of great matches, you know you're gonna get your money's worth. So we have 7 matches on the docket. That's not a lot of matches. A lot of people have been complaining about that too, but I've seen a lot of pay-per-views with 6-7 matches, and because it's not a 13 match card, these matches got a bunch of time and it completely rocked the house, and that's what I expect from this pay-per-view. I'll be very excited. I'll be watching it, and I cannot wait. I will see you Sunday. I will be live tweeting. You can follow me at OMGCoreyB or at 2SweetPod, the number 2, Sweet P-O-D. You can follow me there. I'll be live tweeting, and I cannot wait for this pay-per-view. Let me know down below, what do you think about this pay-per-view?